Craigslist got themselves in trouble with that whole other reputation.
The other side of what was offered there.
So, yeah, special services, not appliance related. So, Scott, you was a guest on the Service Alliance Group podcast. I believe it was back in December when I saw you with TK, and you talked about this Craigslist thing and Facebook with the background. You got your new blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said you had like somebody painted and it had that cool color, and that really appealed to me.
And we're back for another episode of Behind the Bargains. We've got EJ with EJ's Appliance Repair and Sales. We've got Brad with Fanning's Appliances. Matt Murphy with New Appliance Wholesale, and me, Scott, with New Appliances. And we're talking to EJ about his repair to service and sales journey. How's that going?
You know, I'm still getting used to the and sales. I joined the BNI group so I can get some of the word out. And every week I stand up and say, hey, it's EJ with EJ's Appliance Repair and Sales. It's kind of becoming my tagline. It's been an interesting journey. You know, as we've talked in the past several weeks, there's been some highs and lows. This past week on the sales side has been one of the low weeks. And, you know, it's just real talk. You know, everybody knows us as EJ's Appliance Repair. You know, we do have signs up outside. They're not sufficient yet, but there's something. My 10-foot banner on the front of the building looks like I stapled a business card to it because it's too small. But some people have been curious and coming in. We're struggling to close some of the sales. And, you know, when repair is good, our sales goes down because the guys out in the field are the primary source of leads. You know, if for whatever reason we can't sell the repair, we need to be converting those over to new appliance sales. One big question I've come into this week with is being a new store, even though it's an existing business, how do we generate the buzz? Like, what's some creative ways that you guys have all found to just get people to show up?
I think that's a great question. I mean, one of the best things that you can do is introducing yourself to the community. Try to find community events that you can be a part of and just drag a fridge down there or park a van, hand out some t-shirts or some mugs or any swag, even a custom printed water bottle, just to build some brand awareness and throw a magnet out there like, hey, next time you need something, we're here.
Everyone's shopping journey begins on their phone. So that's a big shout out for whenever you have a website. Like, you should be developing mobile first websites, not desktop first websites. But that's a different subject. Wherever they plug in the thing to find what you do, whatever it is, starts online usually. And referrals are definitely the best, easiest to close ones, like what Matt is saying. If you get exposure and you get people referring your business, those are definitely great. But I think just really good coverage on Google Shopping or your Google business page is a really good place to start, because that's what most of our referral traffic from our website starts from Google, at least right now. What is y'all's, Brad? Like, where's your traffic come from, at least on your website?
Well, the first thing I want to point out is who was the guy at ASTI with us who was trying to convince me that desktop first was the way to go?
DJ.
Oh, yeah, DJ, you were wrong. Mobile first is the way. So I'm just getting that out of the way. But yeah, so a couple things. What you want to do is you want to update your Google listing page. You want to add appliance sales on there, because right now you are tracking for appliance, but Google needs to know that you actually sell appliances too. I'm more guerrilla marketing, so like, you want to get out there, and because you are a new business, you don't want to spend any money. What you need to do is you need to go to the residence pages on your Facebook. So any residence that you're in, I'm sure your people already refer you, but you need to be on there sniping people. Hey, my fridge wore out, where can I go? And you need to be like, hey, look, EJ's applying. If we can't fix it, we can replace it. You know what I mean? Or come up with a catchy slogan, and that's free. I mean, you have to have at least probably 10 community pages in your area, and every day you can just literally go to that page and search appliance, and it'll tell you every person that's talked about an appliance, and you just go on there and just start plug. You can't over plug yourself because the moderator will kick you out, but I'm saying, like, you can show yourself some love. Hey, we can help you out, we're local, you know what I mean? Like, if we can't fix it, we can help you replace it, you know, just something as simple as that. Third thing is, I still would do Facebook marketing or Facebook marketplace ads. Market it as a business, don't market it as a single post. Hey, we're, you know, insured, we're a business, we have a lot of options, you know, comes with warranty, you know, we're not your, you know, not talking down, but you need to separate yourself from a, you know, fix and flip type of company, you know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense.
That's interesting. We actually don't do that. We used to a long time ago, but you're actually posting marketplace posts, like you're listing a product for sale on Facebook Marketplace?
We don't do it anymore, but I'm saying when I first started, that's what we did. Like, I mean, now I spend tons of money in advertising, but I mean, I'm going back to when I first started. What did I myself do? I didn't have the money. I mean, EJ, I would put some sort of money in Facebook marketing, and I can help you do that, you know what I mean, like, to where you can generate some revenue. But again, you know, new businesses starting out, they don't have a ton of capital to put out in marketing, so I can give you free advice, and then I can give you, hey, look, if you can put a marketing budget together on what you're comfortable spending, like, I can promise you I can get you 5x return on investment or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, we're not just going to just shoot money in the air, you know, from nowhere. You want to target, like, we'll specifically target. I'm not even going to do washers or dryers. We're going to target specifically fridges, because the amount of money that you'll make on a fridge will offset any type of marketing budget that we'll spend.
You know, one of the things that I had in mind for the last few months was, we've been starting this project, is we've kind of unofficially done our soft open, but doing a grand opening with the chamber, and you know, maybe have some food and some swag, definitely. But so far what I've been doing is I do have a social media marketing company that I'm paying $400 a month, and they come twice a month and take pictures and video of different things. That marketplace and the Facebook communities and the next door types, that I have been sleeping on. I know better too, because that's how I built my repair business, was on Facebook. Have you guys ever went to other places that sell things like appliances, or actually appliances, and introduce yourself? I mean, we do that with repair. I'll go to, like, the other appliance stores and give them my business card, because they don't service. But do you ever go to the other stores?
I'll tell you, I sell to other stores. Every company in my area has reached out. At one point in time, I mean, I had a company last night find a Facebook post that I posted about scratch and dent appliances, asking him if I could sell them appliance. I mean, it was a post from 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, I go meet the used appliance guys, and customers that walk in that want a used appliance, I direct them that way, and then customers that want scratch and dent, they direct them my way. So just like with the repair people, we work hand in hand, you know what I mean? But they have to have a good review, because again, I'm putting my name on it. And not every customer, like, at the end of the day, not every customer has the money or whatever. They want something. Our goal is to flip them into something else. But if I have a 90-year-old grandma that's on disability, you know what I mean? And her grandson brought her in, and she's got $700 a month in income. Like, I just, in good faith, I can't flip him into a scratch, and I just can't. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. So I guess that's we do. I meet every other business that's around me, at least, but most of them hit us up, try to buy appliances from us.
We do a lot of servicers. So all the servicers in our area we know. I don't think we do much with actual appliance stores outside of the ones that we sell to. But going back to what you said, EJ, before that point about Craigslist and Facebook, that's how we started too. So we started on Craigslist whenever Craigslist was a thing. I don't even know, like, if anyone even searches Craigslist anymore.
Hey, we're
still there.
We actually use it in North Carolina for used appliances. We still sell appliances on Craigslist.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Well, that's how we started. And that's how our backdrop for our photos started, was we wanted to mask Craigslist, because way back in the day, you didn't even have to pay to be a to post as a dealer. Now I think it's probably a couple bucks or something, but so we would post like every 30 minutes over the course of the entire business day. And so what would happen is when you scroll through Craigslist, you'd see our post. We wouldn't cover the whole thing. That wasn't the goal. It's just to be there every so often that while you're scrolling, you see us over and over and over again. And then they would come and investigate what they're actually looking for. The downside of doing that was if you're doing it with live inventory, if you post something on there and you sell it and you don't take it down, that customer is pissed off. So you have to be really on top of your game of taking down postings whenever they do it. But really since then, I mean, Facebook kind of stepped up, took over a lot of that traffic, I'm assuming. I know there's other apps and stuff,
OfferUp used to be a big one we used to use.
I think Craigslist got themselves in trouble with that whole other reputation.
Yes.
The other side of what was offered there.
So, special services.
Yeah,
Not
there
appliance
you go.
related. So, Scott, you was a guest on the Service Alliance Group podcast. I believe it was back in December when I saw you with TK, and you talked about this Craigslist thing and Facebook with the background. You got your new blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said you had like somebody painted and it had that cool color, and that really appealed to me because I think that's kind of a game changer in the marketing side. That's what made me want to do this whole thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, last week we mentioned that we would tour the website this week. So I'm trying to do my website in that way. One thing that happened is I got 40 appliances at once, and moving them into their one place was hard enough, and then trying to set aside time to move them all over to that wall was a whole different challenge. But if you guys want, I can share my website, and
Let's see it.
I'd love some critique. I love praise, but I can also handle some constructive criticism and feedback. So just a second as I pull that up.
Yeah, love it. And you've had this website for a couple weeks now, right? So this is our starting place.
Yeah, we're still kind of getting it right. Can you see it right now?
Yep.
All right, this is the home page. Got the branding nice and big. Buy online with trust. The logo, we got our alternate logo with the sales. We scroll down and we've got some featured products. I was showing you guys this before we got on. Got my LG all-in-one, the Samsung Bespoke with the Morning Blue, and then my Hailstorm model Samsung French door because it's peppered with dents all over, and a nice LG counter depth. But the cool thing about the featured section is you can see the drastic discounts from retail price. And if you can deal with, say, this one, this is the worst one, and you can see the dents. They're just kind of throughout. But it's still a good looking fridge. And for that much off, it's a pretty good deal.
That is a very light hailstorm, if I must say. And I'll show you some stuff from our side that in the scratch and net world, you get some pretty big dents and dings.
Yep. I've seen one on your side before.
Yeah.
But, you know, what we're doing is we're showing people they're beautiful on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are really nice on the outside, too. So here's the thing that I did. My friend Jenny Seeley at outcomeacademy.com. She has a bunch of resources to help businesses. She has a whole library of GPTs for ChatGPT. And she made one for me that is an appliance ad creator. Basically, all I do is put in the model number and tell it if it's new, scratch and dent, or used. And it spits out this description that I can put on anything that I want. So it's supposed to be a little bit more appealing and attracted. You see here, I put, let's call it a hailstorm special. And this I just pulled off the internet, the other section here. So this is an example of a post initial feedback.
I think it's a great starting point. I mean, it would surprise you how many appliance stores do not put live inventory on their website. So just having that, like starting place number one, is a massive, massive piece. I think you'll naturally just make different improvements to the product page. You'll add your own tweaks and buttons and videos and stuff like that.
Here's my branded wall.
There you go. That looks great.
That looks nice. Yeah.
That's one of the new Speed Queen sets. The matte black. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Do you have an About Us page?
Not yet. Let's get that, and that's one of my favorite things about anybody's webpage too. I haven't done it on this. Thank you.
So you need to talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not, tooting your own horn, but, you need to let everyone know that doesn't know who you are, that has never needed an appliance repair, but needs an appliance. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them some backstory on who you are and, where you came from and, what you give to the community. And
I don't know why my lighting is checked out.
You look like a wizard. I was like,
well, I came out of the screen share and I'm dark.
That's crazy.
I don't know what's going on.
Just gotta sit closer to the camera.
I guess I do now. Yeah, that's good stuff though. Thanks, Brad.
How's your video editing skills? Can you throw together a video?
I can. It takes me a little bit. I use Canva. That's how I do it. What kind of video would you be? So like this week on our Facebook, we've posted some video demonstrations with that social media girl. She kind of got some candid stuff, and some of it was planned, where I displayed the appliance and spoke about some of the features. Is that what you mean?
Well, so I think like people come and shop at a store just like yours for a specific reason. They could go to Lowe's, they could go to Home Depot, they could go to Best Buy, but they came to you. And so everyone's journey starts online somewhere. Maybe they make it to your website or not. Maybe they just go to your Google business page and they go right to you physically, or they actually go on your website, kind of understand who you are, and then come into your store. But nowadays, almost everyone's journey starts online. And if you could highlight the reason why people that come and shop with you to begin with, you are local, you are a small business, you do offer a more tailor-made service than what you get out of box. And I feel like a lot of small businesses, they think that they shouldn't be posting things unless it's really high quality or it's really finished and tailored, and sometimes it just doesn't even matter. Like sometimes like you don't have to have the final finished beautiful video to post it. Sometimes you just need to post, like if you went and shot a video, you probably want to touch it up a little bit, not full selfie mode, but I feel like what you're really trying to do on your homepage is you're trying to set the expectation of who you are and what you do. And if today that means that you shoot it yourself on a phone, I think that still answers that question. And you'd start to form that relationship with a viewer versus, like saying it in text or something. Like people might read some stuff nowadays, but if you can put it in a video, people are going to watch it. They may not watch the whole thing, but they might watch the first 7 seconds. If they could get a
funny thing about this is, I teach some of that stuff in repair, but then you just tweak one little angle of it, and all of a sudden I forget everything.
the same thing.
One thing I'd like to wrap up on that, because you just sparked it in me again. It's a proven fact. People prefer to do business with other people that they know, like, and trust. And those types of things that you can do, like you said, when I started posting the stuff on the website, take pictures of the dents, be upfront. We're going to be straight up about it. Look, this thing might not look great, but we stand by it. This is what it is. You get a great price. We have to do that with us too. I was on the phone today with a potential property manager that would be looking for our repair services. And he said as much, that I could do business with Mr. Appliance, but I'd rather do business with another guy like me that's a small business that lives in the community.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't backed by a corporation, just trying to do the right thing, because I'm not trying to get rich. It'd sure be nice, but I'm trying to provide great products at a great price to help people. And I can see that. That's what I love about the About Us page too, Brad, is you get to show who you are, show off your team, show off some of the things that you like to do. And not all of it needs to be professional and business related. I think sharing some of your team outings, some of the things you like to do, like.
So we do sales cycles, like 60% of the year we're in a sales cycle. And whenever we're in a sales cycle on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we put a big tent outside. We've got a canopy from online and it has our name on it, but you don't even have to go that far. We have a big tent that we put outside. We bring appliances outside underneath the tent. We have music playing outside. We have feather flags, and it just draws the eyes to, hey, there's something happening over there. And it doesn't, like, people don't just slam on their brakes and like stop and run over there and, what are you guys doing? That's not what happens. But what we have seen happen was people will, if they were searching for something and they tell someone about it and that person happened to have drove by your store and saw that tent, they'll say, hey, you should go and check them out because I saw a tent outside. It gives them a talking point that they can bring up, and you get a lot more referrals that way. And it's something that you can literally do for free, is you just put stuff outside as an event. Now, whenever we first started this, we went overboard and we did it like all the time, and that doesn't work. So you have to pull it back some. You can't always have stuff outside as a tent. Then you're just an outdoor flea market. But if you could
you do it like once a month or something?
Well, so
Fridays.
Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, only when we're on a sale is what we do. But you could do, you could have pop-up sales, or you could just have any excuse to have an event, outside. But we get good foot traffic off those days, and you're in a really good location with a lot of traffic. So
yeah. Well, the cool thing about my location is it sits in like a Y of the road. So it's like a straight road, and then as it splits, there we are. So it's got a big triangle parking lot. Everybody would see it. It's not even like you don't drive next to it. You drive straight at us, and then you make a decision, left, right, or straight.
That'd be perfect, honestly. Little tent and a banner or something hanging from it. I mean, that's pretty much all you need to start.
Yeah, I could do that.
EJ, I meant to ask you, do you have a link to your repair site from your sales site?
Not yet, but that was on my mind because I want to backlink them all.
You need to link them both each way. I meant to ask you that. I forgot, but I wanted to get that in there before I forgot. That needs to happen.
It's an excellent idea. To clarify that for anybody else out there, I have a repair site and a sales site. And for example, you would put a big box somewhere in the repair site, or an extra page, or a drop down on the menu. It says, not looking for repair or something, you want to buy appliance sales, and then it would link over to the other site, and vice versa. Not ready to buy? Check out our repair site.
On both pages, you could make it a menu drop down, so it doesn't even physically have to feel like you left the page. The URL might change and like some theme stuff might change, but you could literally make it feel like you're on the same website, and it just you just clicked over to the other one.
Yeah.
So
I think that's an awesome idea.
That brings up back to the Google thing. So you have an amazing Google page. Like, I just want to call that out real quick. You have 282 reviews. You have a 4.9, and it says EJ's Appliance Repair on it. So our number one searched keywords is scratch and dent appliances near me. That's number one. It outranks everything else besides our own name. People search our own name more. But number two is scratch and dent appliances near me. If you put EJ's Appliance Repair and scratch and dent appliances or some version of that. If you could get that into the title, that would be a huge bump. Or even if you don't do that, just put sales up into the title.
Mm-hmm.
But then also the keywords that you have inside of the description on your Google business page, if you could stuff that in there with what your business now offers, I feel like that's going to be a massive, massive amount of traffic that when people type into Google appliances near me or repair or whatever, if you can link all that together on your Google page, that's going to be like 80% of your traffic on your website if you're not doing marketing.
You need to have that in your meta descriptions too, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Scratch and dent near me, your counties, all that stuff. Appliance, refrigerator near me, discounted for whatever, you know what I mean? All those keywords need to be in your meta searches.
Because you really don't have a scratch and dent appliance store in the immediate area where you're at, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably 15, 20 minutes in any direction.
Yeah.
At least.
And you don't show up on the map pack, the big three, whenever I search scratch and dent appliances, Winchester, Kentucky. But I think you instantly would if you just made those changes, overnight.
So my guy, appliancemarketingpros.com is Mike Carson. He's part of the Service Alliance Group.
He's a
network
smart
as well.
dude.
He helped me get all this stuff set up. And, if you guys need help with that, anybody out there watching, he is now focused on appliances. So repair, sales, whatever. He didn't build my e-commerce site. He don't love that, but he's great at all the repair stuff and any other sites. But yeah, he taught me all this stuff about proximity, keywords, and backlinks. So the idea of having 4 websites in repair was if we can get them all to rank, we would be like the top 4.
Yeah, all the
in
time.
Any area. So anyway,
now turn it on, dude. That's going to be killer.
Stuff. I'm going to do that this week. That's my assignment. I haven't done any advertising for my repair business in almost 2 months, and it's the slow season, and we're still keeping 3 guys busy every day. So there is power in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we had our website review that we talked about with Google business page strategy of retooling those. We had some curbside traffic. We have time to talk about a little bit about what Matt was talking about with events and things like that. I'd love to learn what Brad does for things like that. Besides the races and stuff, the 5Ks. Do you guys do any other events or sponsor?
I mean, my daughter does everything with the school. I'm the school's Fanning's Appliance is the largest school's donor. But I mean, we do a lot of stuff with the community. So, I'm in a bunch of different counties. I mean, we do the golf stuff for the kids. We do a lot of golf. I mean, here in the South, there's a lot of golfing going on. So we do a lot of hole sponsors, cart sponsors. I mean, we do a lot with football. We do a lot. I mean, we just do a lot with the community, different things.
I feel like real estate agents, well, specifically in the scratch and dent world, real estate agents are a huge token. Like if you identify who your customer is, they're either a fix and replace customer, or they're recently moved, or they're remodeling. Probably makes up 80 to 90% of everyone that you're going to interact with. And recently moved for us is massive. That's probably 60% of that. And so real estate agents or apartment locators, we really try and reach out to those people. And we get pretty good traffic off of it. We don't do any sponsorships or anything like that in our retail store, but we try and touch base as often as we possibly can.
So BNI. It stands for Business Networking International. It's an organized networking event or groups all over the country, all over the world. And what happens is each group is only allowed to have one person from each industry. So if I'm in there in appliances, nobody else can join as appliances. If you're a realtor, you're the only realtor. And our group is in Lexington, Kentucky. It's called the Master Networkers. There's about 25 people in the group, but last week I got a phone call from the realtor in the group. And she said, I'm here with the banker buying a house, right? The banker of the group was buying a house through her as the realtor. and they were on the final walkthrough, and the guy's wife decides to pull the fridge out, and because they knew it had some issue with the dispenser, and it was the fatal Frigidaire ice ball.
Oh,
The
yeah.
ice ball of death, aka you need a new fridge. So it was the worst one I'd ever seen. So they called, I answered, and I was able to diagnose it over the phone. I said, look, that fridge is toast. You either got to deal with not having ice and water, and it's going to make a mess behind it, or you need a new fridge. So within 30 minutes, that realtor was so good, she got the other team to credit them $1,000 for a fridge. And they called me up, and I had another newer Frigidaire, counter depth, had a couple little dings, nothing major that a magnet couldn't cover up. And they bought it on the spot. Didn't even come into the store. So the power of it is you got, in my case, 25 other people that is actively ear hustling, is what we call it. Anything related to an appliance, they know.
Mm-hmm.
They send that to me, and I do the same thing for any of them. You imagine as a repair company, you're out on a dryer and it doesn't have the 220. The outlet's bad. Well, I'm not a licensed electrician. I can change it, but I go ahead and send them over to the electrician of the group. And he goes over and gets some money. And then when he's at a house and he finds out it's actually, they need a new stove, he knows who to call. So any kind of networking group like that, whether it's BNI or the Chamber of Commerce or whatever the heck it was you called that other one, it's just getting out there and meeting other people. And, that kind of goes back to a little bit of the guerrilla marketing that Brad kind of started to allude to. There's a lot of it you could do online, but don't sleep on getting out and meeting some people. Wherever business owners are or your target customer, try to go where they are and open up and meet them. I'm actually shy, if you guys didn't know that. But owning a business, I've learned how to just show up and open my mouth.
There you
just
go.
start talking.
I think the big aha moment that I saw here was that you've already been through this with repair. Like, you've already been through every single one of these steps with appliance repair. Now you're just like, oh, yeah, I got to do it again for sales. Like, I got to go back from the beginning and just build up the sales side. But now you have a roadmap on how to do it because you've already done this. You just got to look at it through the light of, you got to hit refresh.
Absolutely. So you guys had a very interesting topic you brought up this week, Scott, that I had not even considered even remotely. You want to tell everybody what that topic was?
Chargebacks. So whenever you get into the world of phone sales, well, specifically phone sales or online e-commerce sales, you have to have a plan for chargebacks because they do happen. We had a chargeback a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that, and someone had purchased something online. We delivered it to a physical address, and it turned out to be a fraudulent credit card, and even our policies didn't catch it. And luckily, we were able to go back and reclaim the washer dryer with no issues. But you have to have policies in place that guard that. And actually, I want to hear Brad's take on what they do for chargebacks.
Time out. People like me, I don't fully understand what the situation of a chargeback is.
Yep.
So
can I explain this one, Scott?
Just a little bit. What is a chargeback and why is it bad?
So let's say you're making a purchase online and the website that you make a purchase from is actually a scam. The way that your financial institution protects you is with a zero fraud liability guarantee, whether that's fraud perpetrated by a merchant who's not a real merchant, or that's fraud perpetrated by somebody impersonating you to make a purchase. The way that's enforced is the financial institution behind that card on whatever network that card is issued on follows a procedure that starts by initiating a dispute with the merchant. As part of that process, the money that went into your bank account from that credit card transaction gets ripped out by its teeth into a holding pattern until the institution hears from their customer what happened, gives you an opportunity to respond, and then makes a decision based on a series of rules that are spelled out in your merchant agreement that decide who wins in the event of a dispute. Now, let's say you're a victim of friendly fraud where the customer's not happy with what they bought, they don't feel like returning it, or you won't take the return, and so they file a chargeback claiming that it was a fraudulent purchase so they can get their money back. You now, as the merchant, have the burden of proof to prove to that financial institution that that customer did in fact make that purchase, they did so knowingly, and they should be responsible for paying those funds. But notice how I said the burden of proof is on you as the merchant. It's very easy for consumers to abuse disputes to try to either recoup free merchandise or not have to comply with an onerous process and take the quote-unquote easy way out. The other side of chargebacks is there are a lot of fraudulent transactions, and unfortunately you as the merchant, if you don't take steps to protect yourself, could be the victim of fraudulent purchases from your business, and you're ending up losing the merchandise. So what Scott was alluding to was this thing called the transfer of liability. And with the introduction of chip cards, liability, as long as the chip is used and either a PIN or a signature is collected, stays with the institution that issued that card. But if you take that card online or you take that card over the phone, you lose that transfer of liability. So a phone sale or an online sale could very easily turn into a situation where you've shipped merchandise and will not be getting paid on it.
So let me recap layman words what Matt just said was someone can dispute a transaction.
100%.
And you as a business you need to keep records of the transaction. You need to have policies in place to protect yourself, because even if it was fraudulent or not, that doesn't mean that whoever you sold it to can just go and claim it's fraudulent. And if you don't have your ducks in a row, then they win.
Yes.
You have to have processes to it. So to turn that over to Brad, what do you guys do for chargeback protection?
So different if you're, if it's a point of sale, a customer in the house is different than like what we would do over the phone. If we're doing delivery, so we use a POD software, so I get signature at the time of delivery that's geolocated. We actually take a picture of the item dropped off and or installed, which again is geolocated. You can track my drivers on the truck, where we're at, where we're going, and we can use that. It comes down to a chargeback. Sometimes.
What software is that? What software?
We use a company called Track-Pod, and every customer, they use it from their cell phone. They log into their cell phone in the morning, and then it's a cool software. It sends a text message and an email to your customer saying that they're on the way. It's automatically generated once they get to the stop. And then we can put in times, and it actually updates real time as we're early or as we're late to the customer. So instead of them calling or emailing, hey, look, where's my delivery? They just click on the link and it shows you in the app where they're at.
That's pretty cool.
ETA is 12 p.m. They're running a little bit early. It's going to be 11:45 now. So the customers, it takes, we do a lot of deliveries every day. Nothing compared to what Matt is used to, but for us, it's a lot. So it optimizes the route based on what it's on there, the time of day, it does all that stuff for you. But to go back to the chargeback thing, there's things that you can do as a merchant. You can do if credit card authorization forms, or if you're taking a form of payment over the phone, you can get a copy. You have to start getting into compliance rules, which Matt and I have discussed. You have to start doing things in a certain way if you're going to do credit card transactions over the phone to be protected. But a credit card authorization form is a good thing. But if a customer pulls up in a U-Haul truck and they don't care what they want to spend, they just want to spend the money and get out of there, then, like I said, in the whole time I've been doing this, I've had 3 chargebacks the whole time in my appliance career. So for the amount of stuff that we sell and do, and I had 0 chargebacks until the first time I got on this damn podcast and said that, and then I had one the next day. You know what I mean? So I had one with a realtor lady, It didn't work. The manufacturer was giving her the runaround, didn't want to fix it. She called into us. We ended up fixing it. We fought the chargeback, re-delivered it, re-gave her a new one. She still won the chargeback even though we swapped it out, but we called her and then she paid us again. You know what I mean? It's sorry for the miscommunication or the inconvenience. But there's certain things as a merchant that you need to watch out for, specifically people that are sketchy, you know what I mean? Like not caring what they spend their money on. They just want to load it up in a U-Haul truck and dip out of there within 20 minutes. So we do that, but we do that with people that we know. Like, you know, they show me their ID. I can pull up, and I mean, we do this. I pull up where they live, make sure the house is a house that's been purchased, it's not rented.
Yeah, like getting the ID of the purchaser at some point during the transaction
is really what you need.
Yeah. So if someone buys something remote, that person has to either come into our store and we need to verify it matches the card, and then we post it into the account. And then the same thing, if we're delivering, we have to verify that that person is there before we'll actually release the goods to them. Just know that you have to have some form of protection against credit card transactions, because it's different than whenever you're in a customer's home repairing something. You don't run into that as often. I'm sure you still run into it, but it happens a lot more in all retail. It's not just in what we do. It's all retail.
6 years almost, I've only had one chargeback, and it was on a sale. I sold an ice machine that I ordered, and they told me it would be a month before I would get it. This is not new appliance. This is another vendor. It was like 3 months later. I still didn't have even a lead time. And this woman didn't get a hold of me because I was on vacation, and did a chargeback. And it was like, out of $3,200, and it sat in that holding pattern for about 2 months before.
Those hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. We went over chargebacks, your website, Google business page, which next week hopefully we got some progress on there, because you're sitting on an atom bomb right there. Curb traffic, getting some event stuff happening outside, whatever that means to you, to draw attention. It was a lot. It was a good episode. All right, guys, it's been another episode of Behind the Bargains, and we will see you on the next one.